Now for the yes, I said it first, National League look at the 2011 season. Philadelphia Phillies, they've improved. Five deep, best rotation in baseball with the addition of Cliff Lee. That puts them in the cat seat, the driver's seat. They have a window now open for 2 years to just dominate the league until they have some players. They are an aging team. Then that could be a concern, but I don't think it'll be a concern this season. It'll be a concern as they go. I think they have to be careful about injuries. Injuries has affected them from a batting perspective. They're a little lacking depth when they have injuries, and if anybody catches them, that will be the reason why. A lot of people pick the Braves. I think the Braves are overvalued. They have great pitching, but I'm not buying into that. They have some new guys in position where defense really matters, like Dan Uggla, second baseman. They have a rookie first baseman, a new third baseman. They have, I guess, in the bullpen, they probably are going to be great if they get into those situations, the one-run games, and that's why people like them. They actually have 12 deep pitchers, pitchers that could play bullpen, starter, anywhere in that lineup. So that means pretty much no matter who they put out there, they're going to get the same effort from. I'd just be a little careful with the rest of their game, and that's why I'm not ready to say they get into first or even second in this division. The Mets, why not buy the Mets? You know, a lot of times you'll see these teams in problems where they have off field distractions, and in this case, the Bernie Madoff situation and the borrowing money to meet payroll. But we did have a solid year from Johan Santana. That's probably due. That's coming up. First base, they have Ike Davis. He's looking pretty good. It's the same team as last year, just a year older, and sometimes less is good. Not making a lot of change. I think the Mets move up in this picture. They may move up to second, but solidly stick them in their third after the Braves, and you can't go wrong. Florida, a lot of people think they're great, and I think they have a decent two pitchers, but I'm not buying them to move up in this division. Just Josh Johnson, Javier Vasquez, that's great, but this team is getting very young. I mean, they lost some guys, and I think that really the loss of great hitters like Dan Uggla and Cody Ross leaves it to the young guys to do all this and be consistent for 162 games. Yeah, Florida might be great in April, maybe for a month, and everyone will pick them and jump on the bandwagon, but we won't do that. Let's keep Florida below the Mets, below the Braves, because this team is probably a little more of a challenge to shore up things like middle relief and in after those couple two pitchers that's not even a question. They could have the best. They could have the worst pitching in this division actually. Hanley Ramirez though is also due for a bad year. He's sort of been carrying the team. I'd be careful. How about the Nats? Last? Yeah, they'll still be last because their best pitcher, and you know who I'm talking about, the one who came in last year, um, and surprised everyone with all the strikeouts. Well, he's not back until probably after the All Star break because they had surgery on him, as oftentimes happen. That's Steven Strasburg. So it's in the meantime a whole lot of Levan Hernandez and Jason Marquise. It's so 2003, so old. We don't have much hope for the Nats yet. But just wait. How about the American League West? Well, we know who will be last. Don't buy the Arizona Diamondbacks. Their best two hitters, Adam LaRoche and Chris Young, the best offensive hitters, lower than 265 batting average. Not very impressive. They're a very young team. I do like that Armando Galarraga will be there. He will start and he will shine. He'll be a great pitcher. I think Detroit gave up on that guy and they shouldn't have. How about buying a team, though? Let's buy the Colorado Rockies. Colorado Rockies to win the National League West. Ubaldo Jimenez, last year, 19 wins. He did bounce back. He came back after a year where he had health problems, came back and completed that staff. Colorado has a pretty good looking staff. They have the ability to go three good pitchers deep, maybe four, and every Rockies team can hit. This will be no different. They're a contender once they begin to pitch. San Francisco Giants, world champs. They have a great starting rotation, great team from a pitching percentage, but their problem has always been their ability missing the chance to hit. Hitting tends to go missing, and then they get rid of Edgar Renteria, who had all the highlight big hits for them last year in the playoffs. That Juan Uribe gone. Freddie Sanchez is hurt at second base. Um, they can only go one way, and that's down. So I'm not buying the Giants. They're not a bad team. If they make the playoffs, they got a shot. Not buying them. A team I am buying, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They could move up. I'm going to pick them third. But this team is probably a good chance at a wild card in the National League. They have a new manager, Don Mattingly, and they have Ted Lilly, who came over at the deadline last year, and he really added to this team. So it's Clayton Kershaw, another kid who 2 years ago in the playoffs made maybe a few mistakes, was learning the game, seems to come together. This is his third year now. Chad Billingsley, another one. Add them all together, and this team's ready to break out from the pitching point of view. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier back. That's enough hitting to keep the closers fresh for the National League Los Angeles Dodgers. So you know what? You got to sometimes go with your gut on this. And I think with the Dodgers, you know what you get. You know what you get this year. Team that's going to contend from cover to cover in the season. Be consistent, especially on the pitching and the hitting. San Diego tried that last year. It's a team we're not buying this year. I don't really know how they lasted in first place for like 5 months last year. We're not picking the San Diego Padres. We don't think they'll be as bad as the Arizona Diamondbacks, but they'll be down in that vicinity. They had in 2010, they had a 31 home run hitter in Gonzalez, and he's gone now, and they have to learn to do it without him. They're going to have to play small ball. I guess that's probably why they picked up Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, because they're going to be trying to win all these close one-run games. And you know what? They could be a little bit tired out. They may be a little bit too green to play that game one run all season long. So that's the team I think that's going to be on the outside looking in among the big three in the National League West. Of course, then we have the National League Central, and I'll tell you right away, this year we're not buying the Pirates and we're not buying the Astros. And if you don't know why, you don't know baseball. So let's just skip those two teams and stick them in the bottom. Milwaukee Brewers, I think they're worth buying. Zach Greinke coming over makes this a very good team. That's probably one of the best pickups in the offseason. He'll be their number one starter automatically. He goes into a rotation with Giovanni Gallardo. They have John Axford, closer. Get the axe when you need it. And this team will have a chance with the lineup they have. And this may be their last chance at it with Prince Fielder, Ryan Braun, Casey McGahee, Corey Hart. And if you add in Richie Weeks, these five all had 20 home runs and 80 RBIs last year. They're all in that club. Milwaukee can produce their runs, so this team should be a favorite to win this division. But let's talk about a couple other teams in the division. The Reds. I'm not buying them this year. I think they go down. I think last year was an aberration. National League MVP Joey Votto's still there, but if you take Votto, Drew Stubbs, and Jay Bruce, they have 84 home runs and 260 RBIs between them. That's three guys, all the power. The return of Edison Volquez was good for them last year, coming after the suspension. And, this guy's capable of doing the 17-win season. I don't think that'll be a problem for them. I think the Reds strike out too much because of those three guys. And I don't think they'll be as productive this year because the Reds have no bench to back these guys up. The Reds have nobody to come in there and fill in for them. That these guys are playing every day. There's no platoon system. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be tired players. There's going to be Reds falling down to third. The team I'm buying, and this is the surprise team. I know you all think it's going to be the Cardinals. It's not. It's Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs are the team that's going to challenge the Milwaukee Brewers for first in the National League Central. And they do have a new power hitter in Carlos Pena. Good hitter. They have a new pitcher, another great pitcher, Matt Garza. And this team has a good combination of young and old players. They brought in a new manager, Mike Quaid, last year. They went 24-13 to finish the season with him. There's no Lou Piniella anymore. I think managers like that drag a team down. It's the same thing in L.A., having Joe Torre there. I think Lou Piniella being gone is a good thing for this team. It's good for their pitchers. It's good for Ryan Dempster. It's good for Carlos Zambrano. They have a deep pitching. This team has a deep pitching. If anybody is a player away and they can make something at the trade deadline happen to get over the hump, it's the Chicago Cubs. That's why they're already talking about them going and getting Albert Pujols next year in the offseason. So that leaves the Cardinals. And you know what? If I think that the Brewers and the Cubs and the Reds are going to take the top three positions. I'll give St. Louis a shot at catching the Reds for that third spot. But hitting, that's their game now. They've now become a power hitting team with the addition of Lance Berkman. They now have Berkman, Pujols, and Matt Holliday. But their problem is injuries on pitching. Otherwise, they're a great pitching rotation. They're the scariest rotation in the world when you have Wainwright, Carpenter together, the big three coming at you. But no Adam Wainwright this year. He's injured. Chris Carpenter has a history of hamstring problems. I think St. Louis could trash the season middle of the year and fall even further down if those bottom dwellers were any good. So that could be the biggest problem, is that they would need that consistent pitching, and we already know they're missing a third of it to catch Milwaukee, Chicago, or Cincinnati. I don't think it's going to happen. So St. Louis, this may not be your year. That's our look at the National League.